Right. So first of all, what does a photographer need to have before that you're going to even consider taking them on?
Gosh, I mean, other photo agencies, lots of commercial work, lots of clients, proven track record of doing it. With me, I kind of like an element of that, but it's not a deal breaker. I'd like to see it has to be at a level.
Yeah.
Um, I've got quite high taste levels. I mean, friends and family and partner would disagree. It's just like things that I listen to and watch. But when it comes to photography and visual kind of media, like a cinema stuff like that, I do I like to be quite highbrow. What I like has to it has to but so it has to look really good, but it also has to feel like it is that made from that person. I feel a lot of the time you will find photographers who will take a photo or something because they'll show you all the colors are everything's a perfect image of that
Yes.
image, and a lot of the time that doesn't tend to interest me. I want to know, how do you see the world?
Yes.
What does your world, because we all view things
Yes.
differently and we all perceive, and you, to do that through a camera, and for obviously a lot of the heavy lifting through post production, or whether you're shooting on film and doing your hand, however you're making your work, um, it's really important to have that
To-
voice and have that, and not necessarily the confidence, but have the kind of, gall and gumption are really good things to have as a photographer, to walk into spaces and say, I should be here, and have that sense of like, this is what I want, but
Confidence.
also have zero, yeah, and zero expectation of the person you're talking to. And that's one thing that I've kind of learned over the years is, don't expect anything. If they get back, even if they get back to you and say no, but I try to give, when there's people who email me, I give them, I can't work with them for multitude of reasons that I'll have in my head, but I'll sieve that down to things which are actually helpful for that person, because I don't see the need in just saying no, not for us, and they're like, okay, cool. Well, what is for you? I try to kind of give something, because I know there's nothing harder than trying to get an agent, but you don't always need an agent. You don't, we're not the end of
No,
we're not the
that's
start of
right. I think people think, "Oh, I need to earn more money, therefore I've got to get an agent," is really the wrong approach. Um, yeah, so basically, would you take on photographers who have not worked on campaigns before?
it depends if they've done kind of smaller bits and pieces, and then I saw something in their work. And a lot of the time we do have a few photographers at the moment who I think they're amazing people, and they're so talented, and they've got that real hunger and drive, and I see the quality in their work, kind of like, there's these bursts of magic that happen across their portfolio, but it's not consistent across the entire thing. It's not all singing from the same
Yeah.
hymn sheet across. So I spend time with those photographers. I've got two at the moment who I'm spending once a week. We have an hour's chat, and I'm interested in representing them. But we're both fully. I'm an open book with everyone I meet. They, take it or leave it type situation. I tell them what they need to do and what I would like to see, and they might just say, "Can we talk in a couple of weeks and I work on that?" And then we basically have loads of back and forth where I can essentially say, "This is what I will need for you to be on my books." And like, if you want to be on my books and you want to work with me, great. This is the work you need to do. And obviously, not every conversation I have with every photographer, I kind of offer that
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
to
of
them to
course.
have.
Now, you
So,
saw something in
because
these people and you wanted to develop them
yeah,
and work with them.
yeah,
So, uh,
100%.
tell me some of the brands that your photographers have worked on, what campaigns they've worked on.
So we've done work with oh god,
Mm.
Nike. We've done recently Comic Relief. We've done um,
Puma, you've done Puma.
Google. We've done Puma. We've done. Oh, you're
Do you know
making me
what?
actually have.
Yeah, come on, mate. Where's your elevator pitch gone here?
I don't. I don't. The thing is, I
You've
don't
done
have an
some big
elevator pitch. I think
campaigns. The boys done some big campaigns, let
I
me tell you.
tell you what, I can get them up now and rattle them off to you. We've done things with Yorkshire Cancer Research. We've done stuff with
Yeah,
BAFTA. We did Affinity Water recently. Hero, Visa,
yeah.
BBC. Here we go. Now they're all coming. United Airlines, Timberland, Topic, Dish Podcast, McCain Foods. We did some stuff with Kneecap,
Oh
the
yeah.
Irish
Yep.
band,
Yep.
recently. We did stuff with Airbnb,
Yeah.
more
Okay, so it's a
commentary.
very,
Yeah, loads.
very diverse portfolio there, might I say, of clients.
Polaroid, Molson,
Moleston. Yep.
Heineken.
Oh, you've
Yeah,
done a
we've done
lot. There
like
you go. Yes.
we've done so much, but what's in my a lot of the time it's not what we've done, it's what we haven't done. And
Yeah.
it's what I'm going on to next is usually where my brain is at.
So,
Yeah.
so obviously, yeah, bona fide company, and you're developing photographers. You've got photographers who are out there working. How many photographers are on your books at the moment? Do you know, Harry? Nine. Okay, that's a
Nine. I
nice
know that.
number. That's a nice number. I mean, some agencies like Art and Comment, well, other agencies, I shouldn't mention names, really have a lot of photographers on their books, don't they? Filmmakers, makeup, painters.
Yeah, it's a model that's working. Obviously works for others, they wouldn't be doing it. But for me, I've always been, and you get some photo agencies that have like 25 photographers on, and you look at it and just go, my God, I just think it's kind of like, I tend to run, I'm a massive foodie, and I tend to run my books as a restaurant menu.
I like
Here's all
that.
the food you can have, but it's not 25. If it's 25 things and laminated,
Yeah,
you're less
yeah,
likely to have a good
yeah.
experience. We're more of kind of side street chalkboard, limited
Love it.
menu
Now
type
look, now
place.
he's in a roll. He's on a roll. The boy's in a roll. I found his sweet spot. Very cool analogy.
You're going to have a good time. You're going to get some good food. That's kind of how we operate. We always kind of, it's the old models are kind of changed. And one thing that I'm just talking back to kind of like getting people. I mean, I launched something start of this year, and we've done three of them so far. Which was we launched this initiative called Opening Doors, which is essentially that, which is trying to open doors for individuals who have essentially no the qualification, the kind of way to get it and to be part of it is that you're from a working class or lower class middle class
Hmm.
background, and you don't have any experience, you've never been on set, or you've got limited
Right.
experience on set. And what we do is when we have a production, I bring two or three, or the last one we had four young people on, to come on, and it doesn't necessarily have to be young either, um, come onto set, and whilst I'm running the set, I might not be running the set, but I might have a producer running the
Hmm.
set for me. But I'll be on set, and they can ask me questions, and the producer and the creative director will, and the photographer, everyone on set will know that those people there are there to learn. I don't kind of like stand up and say, "Oh, we got these people with us today who are joining us like work experience." They're very much part of the crew, and they'll muck in if
Yeah.
I need them to move a light. They
Oh,
need to move a
lovely.
light. Like if I need them to go and get a delivery for some backdrops have arrived last minute, they got to go carry them in. I'm not gonna, there's an element of coming in, and we pay them for their time as well. So they come in, they get paid, and we do it from a sense of I never had that in my when I came up through the industry. It was all
No.
me just bumping
Yeah.
into people, doing what we could, there was no, I could have gone, there's none of this could have, I could be something completely different if it wasn't just by luck and chance and meeting the right people. So we've run opening doors with the idea of no, it's not luck and chance. You can see it. It's something we operate and we can do, and you get in touch. And we basically we try not to bring on the same people
Uh-huh.
twice. We tend to go through the list and get as many people on so they've got that experience. And I say to them, when you've got an interview or you're applying for a whatever job you're applying for, or production, whatever, or create whatever it is in the creative industry, just slap my name on it and say I'm a reference, and then I'll be your way in, and
And
I'll sing your praises and get you in, that's how it
that's how it
should
should
be,
be.
and
Exactly.
it isn't, and it's not,
Eh,
and it's really
It is.
frustrated me. So
It's a funny old business. And just talking about the business model. So you basically these photographers. You've taken these photographers on board. You're representing them.
yeah,
So you're at that stage where you're putting their portfolios out to get them work, and you're putting in front of the campaigns and art directors who are appropriate. And you're also negotiating that thing that is just such not talked about, except only in advertising photography, and that's usage.
yeah, yeah,
Usage.
usage.
Let's talk about
That's
usage. What is usage?
so it's licensing and usage is essentially when you work with a client. So let's say you did a campaign with a client. and they had 15 KVs and KVs as key visuals. So that'll be that'll be the key artwork that you've shot, and they might ask 15 KVs and 24 additional images that could be just website, smaller social bits. But the key big
Yep.
hero campaign work that you've got with the client, that's going to go on billboards. It's going to go on website. It's going to go on promoted emails, comms, social, all their social accounts everywhere, basically plaster wherever you can, digital display screens, basically wherever you can stick it, it will go. In terms of where you might, and television as
Yeah.
well, if you're
Right.
doing, we do a lot of. There's a lot of player campaigns where they just use photography in Airbnb, probably the most famous one. They do, I think they actually do it the best. Um, in terms of using still images on TVC campaigns. So though each of those images costs money for the client to then use. So they've got the usage of it and also the licensing contract. So all of our production, we whenever I do like a budget for a client, they got the production, they got pre-production, production, and then they've got licensing and
Yes.
usage,
We'll
and then
come
they
on to
got and
production.
then they
Sorry,
got
we'll come into production in a minute. We've got about 15 minutes left to talk in. We'll talk about production in a minute because I know that's another arm of your business. But yeah, just coming back to the usage.
yeah, so the use so everything is split up. So the client can then see clearly like what are they getting for this? Like so you got like 15, what is the markup? Are you charging, are you charging £500 per image, or if it's a
Oh,
global one, are you charging more about
yeah,
£2,000 an
yeah, yeah.
image? So basically everything that you create and do for the client, there's a fee for, and it might be, then you work it out based on, is it 6 months? Is it 3 years? Then you show, and what I tend to do, I do it on all basic, anything, anyone's talking to you licensing usage. If they say they want 6 months from you, the best thing to do is say, this is what 6 months get you, but this is what 12 months get you, but this is what, 18 months get you. And then you can price it all up, but then bring the cost slightly down on the 18 months, knowing that, oh God, if we just ran this for a year, for example, we can actually get a lot more for our budget than doing that. So they'll book it and buy it. So yeah, it's basically wherever your images live, you need to be paid. And obviously there's a licensing contracts, which we have our own original licensing. We have our own business terms and conditions. We have our own um, which covers all the photographers in the production, but we also have our own licensing and usage contracts. So those things are like, for example, there's either the agency and the client. So if I'm working with an agency, the agency and the client has rights to use these images within this time frame. That time frame goes, I expect them to take it down or pay me more
Yes.
money or give me another
Yes.
job.
Yes.
And then there's things like third party. So the client might have a partnership. Let's say it's uh, Heinz, and they've got a partnership with Coca Cola or something. They're doing a collab, and they want to use the images that you shot. You need to make sure that there is payment for third party usage and additional
Oh
usage
my
coming
God.
in, because before you know it, you'll see yourself splattered on brands that you
It,
never even shot it for. So yeah, it's not as complex as it sounds. You better say, how
it's
much do you
not,
want?
but
This is how much
it's
it is.
not, it's not, but if you're just like a regular jobbing photographer like myself with not being represented, just getting my own work, it's something you
Mm.
doesn't even come into the equation. I think in America as a commercial photographer you talk about usage, but in the UK it's never discussed unless you're at that level you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, we are lucky enough that there's an agency where we do have. I mean, we had, I think the biggest one we charged was £250,000 a
Cool.
year uh, for about 10 images.
I mean,
Um,
it's where the
so
money is, isn't it? It's only, and that's what you're good at. And I see, when you started talking about these figures and these different ways of doing it, that's what an agency does. They can really ramp it up. And because as
yeah,
photographers, as you know, because you started off, as one and still no doubt are,
yeah,
you'll just want to talk about the work and who's going to model and the creative side of it, and all that other side is just like, oh gosh.
yeah. What I have a like an agreement with my photographers where we all have I have an open dialogue. So my photographers see my budgets, they see how much I'm charging. A lot of agencies won't do
Yeah.
that because they want to, we've got X amount of markup which we're keeping for us. The budget could be 120K, but they tell the photographer it's 90, so they siphon off that money for them. I've been in plenty of rooms where I've heard that
Wow.
happen and
How
seen it. and I've kind of gone, "What?
That's
That's
insane.
insane." So everyone sees it, so the photographers know what everyone knows what I'm charging and what I'm saying and what I'm doing, and, so it's all open, everyone can see it. I
Yeah,
mean, I've
no, I
got
can, of course, yeah, and that Harry, and brilliant that you're doing that as well. And you've always been a very open person. Okay, let's just go into the last sort of bit now, which again our viewers might, or our listeners and viewers might not know so much about, which is the production side of your business.
Mm. Yes, so production is very much just like how do you'll get like a brief in, and it can range from something incredibly simplistic. So it's just like, products on a different colored, different colored backdrops and different products being moved in, or it could be people wearing product, or it could be a real life campaign, or it could be a campaign with real people, and it could be on the go. We've done a few kind of we've done like four now documentary style kind of. They look
Mm,
commercial, but it's shot with real
mm,
people on real location type thing. And a lot of that is like they give you the say, this is what we want to do. This is how much money we've got, and then you've got to give us 20 images at the end of it, and this is what the creative is. This is what we want to see you make. And then they go, I said, well, do you want us to? A lot of the time, it's brands coming direct. They want us to do the production, and creative agencies. A lot of the time will, when we can, we'll get the production. So we basically say, right, we need, got to get the casting.
mm.
There's things like getting the casting together, getting all your crew together, all your equipment, all your drivers, making sure everyone's going to, if it's outside of the M25, people are getting paid the right fee for driving
Yeah, yeah, all
outside the
these
M25.
little these tables and
Yeah,
figures.
things you don't know about. And so it's basically just like, how do you go from like, we've got to get like 30 images together, and the brand wants to be on set every single day, and the brand has sign off and everything. And sometimes it can be very simple where you're just doing, there's some campaigns I get where I'm like, I can do this really easy. And then sometimes where I look at it and go, oh, this is really
Mm,
complex. It's got blue
mhm.
screen and green screen because we're doing this massive CGI. We're doing huge amounts of stuff. We just did one recently that's coming out quite soon, which is a huge CGI and then small animation like set building and real life. You're shooting plates, which is shooting things. You're shooting you're shooting a building, and then you're going to use that as the backdrop in post to put the people in front of things like that. So there's so many different moving elements. You've got art directors who will, be in charge of all the props and sourcing all the props and signing all those props
Yes,
off, and then managing the
yes.
props on set, and then if it needs to be moved slightly, someone's got to come in and move that slightly. It's not you and the photographer doing it. So it's a big old like village of
Oh, I
people
love
coming
it.
together to make it
Love
happen.
it.
And I love being on a set more than anything. It's my favorite thing in the world because it's so much
Yeah,
fun, and it should be. It's hard work. I mean,
long days.
long days. But I'm in a lot of the time when we're doing a Darwin production. I'm the producer. I'm the front facing with the client because I'm the person they've dealt with. So producing my team. I'm also managing
Yeah.
my photographer. I don't even manage. Let's get clear. I don't. My photographers would laugh at the idea of me managing them on set.
Yes, yes,
I
yes.
don't manage them, but what I do is I'm with them and I'm saying, I'm moving the shoot along like any good producer does to make sure we're on time. Also making sure they're really happy. I'm also there to make sure clients happy, but also the client isn't asking things which, sometimes you get clients who go, oh, do you think we could get this extra thing in? You're like, well, we weren't briefed on it and it's not been added. And sometimes the photographers will just do it to please the client. Whereas I'll kind of say, I'll step them aside and say, yeah, we're happy to do this, but it does mean,
Just
it will push
fees.
the
And
budget up.
again, that's what you're so good at, Harry. That's what you can do. That's the advantage of having somebody representing you and looking after you. They can deal with those questions because we just want to shoot and just take as many photographs as possible and keep going.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the time, I mean, it's only happened a few times where the photographers look back to me and we've gone for a pint after. And they're like, "Well, I had loads of fun. Didn't look like you were having fun." Like, yeah, a lot of the time though, it's tell it to my face because I've got a very grump when I'm work. I have to actually deliberately be like this when I'm working. Otherwise, people think I'm bloody miserable. But yeah, so some things are a bit more, and a lot of the time it's not client being tricky. A client will want it to. They're very specific in what they want in their head, and you've got sometimes you're working with people who they're not on set every day. They don't do this for a living. This is just they were, the one or two big campaigns they're doing this year. So even though they might have been on plenty of sets before, sometimes articulating the exact thing that they want is, and I've seen it before when I've been producing other sets for other people, where tensions come is when you're not giving the client the kind of the platform and the freedom to express what they want
Okay.
and have that conversation with the
Yes.
photographer. Because a lot of times,
Yes.
whenever I've come into contact with slightly tense feelings and how things were going in terms of like, because a lot of the time you'll be shooting it and you know we're doing post production. This isn't the final. This isn't the final thing. I did have one client who I've not worked with in a long time. We shot part of it on film and then grabbed my film camera and said, can we see the shots?" I'm like,
What?
"No, no,
I
no."
know. Well, that would, yeah, I mean, I can imagine people. Yeah. I saw a comment the other day on some Facebook something about he talked to his kid about film, and didn't know what film was. Yeah. Anyhow, let's not go. Okay. Let's just start wrapping up a little bit here, Harry. And yeah. So what about the future then? What do you think the future is going to be? And I'm talking about, don't you? I'm talking about the two letters, of course.
Yeah, we talk about AI. I mean, look, embrace it where it's good, use it where it's good, and challenge it where it's crap. And challenge it where it's great for sparking
Yeah.
ideas. It's great. AI is fantastic for pre-production to go
Oh my
into
gosh, it must
mid-journey
be.
and
Yeah.
create what they want to see and say and pitch them that saying this is what we're going to create, but we're going to create it for real. We're not going to to show them so they can physically see it. It's great from those kind of like perspectives,
Oh, you have
but
got
it's not good.
a knock at the
I
door.
got I do. I have a plumber, but he can wait one
We
second. Um,
Go on, Harry. No, just pause it there. Do what you need to do, and we've only got 5 minutes to come in. We can
okay, give me one second.
Okay.
Yes, so with AI with the pre-production, there's actually quite a few. I know two companies that have started up now, and their whole thing is they're creative directors who basically use AI to do the entire pre-production
Wow.
visualization
Yes.
of campaigns for
Yeah.
clients. It's expensive. It's like £250 an image to get them to make it for
Yeah.
you, but to do it. But then if you're pitching on something and then you've got all that, it AI, the future of AI, you you've got you. It's not going
No,
anywhere.
definitely not. No way. It's here, man. It's here to stay.
It's and it's the thing is this iteration of AI that we have is learning based on what we
Mm.
tell it and the information it can get from that. That will balloon and collapse in on itself because it can't go anywhere. The AI currently is based on learning. I mean, I think the next iteration of AI is going to be the doing
Yeah. Well,
version.
okay. That's a long way. I think that's a
That's the
long way
one.
off yet, personally.
That's the one which I think people should be worried about. But it's currently it's very much on photographers post production. It's amazing. Where you can bring in different tools and you can get things mocked up very quickly and show say, hey, look, I've mocked this up. Do you like it? Great. I'm gonna go away and build this and make this work. I'm a firm. I mean, me and my boyfriend constantly loggerheads over this, but I believe that storytelling, originality, creativity, those things are so core to like the human experience that I don't think we're going to go buy books made by AI. I don't think we're going to enjoy watching films made
I
by
agree.
AI, and I think we're going to very quickly disconnect from. We're already doing it now. You see an ad made by AI; it's usually very on a local level. Let's be honest; it's usually a local window cleaner who's AI'd a thing up, or it's. I've seen some campaigns come out from some people, but those campaigns were never creative or interesting in the first place. So I'm not, let's leave them alone. But I think people very much bored. And actually, I think some data came out about a couple of days ago saying that AI budgets for brands in terms of creative content has dropped by 60%, been slashed by 60%.
60%.
So I don't think in the current 2 years, I think it's probably going to be. I think, and then there's a lot of you look at all the big Cannes awards and all the big commercial awards, which where a lot of big photography and video campaigns, nothing AI gets through. And I think a lot of brands want to. I think you can use it in your workflow, and I
100%.
think
Yeah.
you can. There's so many ways that can be great, but I think the final actual product, I think AI saves you so much money. Why shoot this when you do an AI half the cost? Blah blah blah. My argument is, yeah, but you're probably blocking a river somewhere and killing
No,
loads of
no,
animals.
it's very true.
Let's there's the ethical and
Well,
moral argument. But embrace it where you can, use it where it's good, and where it's not, where it's not helpful or useful for you as a photographer or as a creative, or you just find it, or don't use it. But it's here to stay. It's not going anywhere. So
you've got to
you
don't be a
basically
luddite.
you
Yeah,
got to.
you use it. Okay, so let's just get to the last question, and it's you've already touched on this a little bit earlier, and the question is obviously going to be how does a photographer get represented by an agent? And you mentioned earlier about finding your voice,
Mm,
which I think is a
mm.
great answer. Anything else you can think of?
Knowing my name.
Do people get?
I kid you not, the amount of emails I will get from someone who doesn't know. This is a hello, sir or madame, or to who it
Oh
may
dear, that's a red
concern.
flag. Really?
I'm one person at
Yeah,
one
man.
agency, and I'm on LinkedIn very vocally. You clicked on the Darwin Studio kind of LinkedIn page. It's one employee, it's me. I've got my email on every post that I do, and I'm posting twice a day on LinkedIn. There's no way you can't know who I am, or just connect with me and listen to the whatever rubbish I'm chatting about that week. You'll get a very quick understanding on who I am, and how to. It's just that basic research. It's this,
Research.
and I'm not for everyone, and everyone's not for me. And I think a lot of it is finding someone that's kind of right for you, and not and being really. I mean, the first thing you send to someone is, sink or swim
It
type
is really in
situation.
this very
You
competitive world we're in now, mate. You've got it. You've got to start off well. That's for sure.
you kind of got to go. Do I shoot my shot and say I want to rep by this, but not me or whoever you're talking to? Or do I say an email saying, "Hey, look, I'm looking for representation. Not right now, but it's something I'd like to explore. Where do you think? I think when you have expectations of people, um, for things, I think that's when, as humans, we're very instinctively say no, because they didn't want that email, they
Yeah.
didn't ask for it, and they got an email weren't expecting, and it's already got an ask out of it, and you kind of go, well, why am I committing to this? And I basically, I do so much outreach myself to clients, and I constantly have to go, would I want to get this email? And it could be the best email you've ever sent, and it could be amazing, really direct. And most of the time is no, most people don't want to hear from you, but they'll clock you. I clock everyone who emails me. Oh, that person will come in handy if I've got a shoot and I think they'd be great for assisting or styling, or if there's something that I respond to everyone, but I don't make their demands happen like
Yeah.
instantly. But I think it's seeing what's important. Also, if you're looking for an agent, look at the photo agencies that are out there and try and just say, look, I just want to have a conversation about I've done quite a few talks. I've done two other podcasts, and I'm very vocal on LinkedIn. I'm very vocal on my socials. I'm like, most people should be able to find the answer from the answer from that I would give
Exactly.
before they ask me.
Exactly. That's a great, Harry. That's a great way to and do the research. And if you're going to be contacting somebody, find out about them first. At least get their name right. Harry, thank you so much. You've done. It's just great to go back over the years with you when you first and be there when you first started. Well, not be there
Yeah,
directly, but certainly overseeing you and seeing where you are now. You've done incredibly well. You're a lovely person. You've got such a warm spirit. Thank you so
thank you,
much.
mate. Thank you. Really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Nice one, mate. Look after yourself.